No further ado, here are all the movie reviews starring Captain America Civil War. All right, happy 10th anniversary, Captain America Civil War. This is the, I think, kind of right now, 11, 12. This is the 13th MCU film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's directed by the Russo brothers, starring Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland, Scarlett Johansson, Paul Rudd, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, uh, many others to name a few. William and the late great William Hurt. Let me not forget that. So as so far everyone knows, Captain America Civil War is the strongest entries of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's directed by Anthony Russo, Joe Russo of Winter Soldier, and plus the next four Avenger films, Infinity War, Endgame, Doomsday, and Secret Wars, which is crazy. The film takes what could have been a standard superhero showdown and turns into a compelling political and personal conflict. Rather than focusing on the world-ending threat, the story centers on the disagreement between Captain America and Iron Man over government oversight of the Avengers. Both characters have understandable motivations, making the conflict feel genuine and emotionally impactful. This is my personal favorite film of all time, the MCU film. Definitely fourth. After I had to update my MCU top ranking because now Phase 4 or 5. But yeah, it was like right after like the first Iron Man movie, Black Panther. Then oh god, what was the other one? Guardians. I think was top tier in my ranking. But again, need to change that pretty soon. Probably after Phase 6 is over. But yeah, and it does a better job of doing the superhero versus superhero over a couple of versions that we have, especially this year with Batman v Superman. This was a better movie with the hero versus the hero thing. What works is the conflict feels real. I mean, one of the movie's biggest strengths is that neither side is completely right or wrong. Tony Stark believes the Avengers need accountability, and that's something I kind of agree. After the destructions we see in the previous films, as we saw in the scene with Secretary Ross showing them and their, unfortunate efforts of trying to save some of the, um, cut out the damage from Battle of New York, the Washington Hydra um, incident, the Battle of Sokovia and Age of Ultron, and then of course in the Civil War, the I think Lygo's incident with Crossbones. While Steve Rogers fears the political control could prevent the team from doing what is right, something that he countered because of the Hydra incident from his movie with the Soldier, which is understanding as well. This moral gray area gives the film much more depth than a typical superhero battle, which is very good. Something we never saw at that point of the superhero films. Um, and speaking of that, we got the great outstanding character man with Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. I gotta say, the movie serves a lot of major turning point for several characters. Like Tony Stark continues dealing with the guilt and responsibility from Age of Ultron to this film, and then you get to see Rogers remains committed to his principles regardless of the consequences that he's facing in this film, which is really spectacular. Plus, we got two players that have been very strong in this Phase 3 into their solo films, like Black Panther makes an impressive MCU debut, has one of the strongest character arcs in the film, and moving forward in the MCU, the late Chadwick Boseman is amazing, as always. Love his performance in this film, and of course his solo film Black Panther. Very sad that we don't longer have him. And then of course Spider-Man gets introduced to this film, the MC debut with Tom Holland, where he introduced with the tremendous energy and instant feels like the classic comic version of the character, which I agree. And then we got the other ones like the airport battle. The airport fight remains one of MCU's most entertaining action sequence. It balanced humor, character moments, and action while giving nearly every hero a chance to shine. And then plus we get into Simo's plan. I like Simo as the villain. I know you kind of forget that he's the main villain in this story, but what makes Simo's plan really work or stands out is because he's not trying to defeat the Avengers physically. Instead, he succeeds by exploiting their emotional weakness and breaking apart the team within, which does work. And the film is not perfect. I think there's several things that doesn't work. I think the humor sometimes can hit and miss in this movie. I do agree with some uh, that the film does feel crowded because of the large cast. So certain characters don't get enough character development over, say, Steve and Tony. So, like the ones I mentioned, I think it's Hawkeye and Ant-Man. They have less development due to the focus on Steve and Tony. And then the Sokovia cards are very interesting debate. I like how we did delve into like the government oversight, but it's not explored enough in this movie. And unfortunately, I don't think Phase 3 or afterwards don't really explore even forward with the idea of it, which is a shame because it's a really interesting topic. But just ending on a high note, that's really my complaint about the film. But overall, it's a really top tier film. I mean, the best scene in this film is the final confrontation between Captain America, Iron Man, and the Winter Soldier. Is the emotional heart of the film. Once Tony learns about the truth about his parents' deaths, which was teased in Winter Soldier, which is great that they paid that off. The conflict becomes deeply personal, and the fight is brutal, tragic, and changes the MCU forever. Which is kind of true, and it's probably the reason I like this movie because it does carry over to Infinity War Endgame, and like it really pays off in those movies, particularly with Tony and Stark, which is really great. So the final verdict for me with this movie is that I think Captain America: Civil War exceeds as a both a Captain America film and an Avengers level event movie. I know a lot of people, there's a debate like either not this a Captain America movie uh, or truly an Avengers movie, but I gotta say it works both, and I think it delivers the great action that you expect from the movies, strong character work, which is I think that's the best of this movie. The strong character arc here, the emotional stakes are good here, the consequences that continue to shape the MCU through the films like Avengers: Civil War, Endgame, presented in here and move forward to those films. So those are the big things. The rating for, I will definitely give this. I agree. I'll give this a 9.5 out of 10. Great film, highly recommended. Just to end the note, what's my favorite elements? The Captain America versus Iron Man conflict, the Black Panther's MCU debut, and Spider-Man's MCU debut as well. Both highlights of this film. The airport battle, still the best, and then really the emotional final fight towards the end of Civil War. So, as always, for many MCU fans, Ward ranks among the best films in the franchise because it proves that the greatest threat to the Avengers wasn't an alien invasion, it was their inability to trust one another. So I'll leave that note. So thank you everyone for joining the Captain America Civil War 10th anniversary review. Yeah, happy 10th anniversary. Can't believe it. 10 years since this movie came out. Still remember when I saw this in theaters. It was a big like as Iron Man fan, love this movie. It did a lot for Tony Stark's arc movie to his finale and Endgame. So yeah. All right.